me be the first to say you are all welcome. Welcome to be here. We took a little liberty with that song of from the great movie Moana. You're welcome, and we changed the meaning. You are all welcome to be here. We hope all 4-H members feel welcome in the 4-H program. And we're here to talk today about feeling welcome in the 4-H program and how we can assist all of our families who are new to the program or been in the program for a while to feel welcome. So again, welcome. I am Beth Boomershine, 4-H educator in Franklin County, and my co-host here.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Stoneburner and I'm the 4-H program coordinator in Franklin County. So like Beth said, we are glad that you are all here. And today we just want to spend this session talking about the problem of declining membership in Ohio 4-H and how we can help with club environments turn that around. Then we're going to tell you how to turn that around. And then we're going to help you make a plan for your 4-H club and share with you our custom resources.
Great. So now that we got the objectives down, let's start with the problem. The little bit of research that you have showing on your screen right now is a snapshot of 4-H club membership in Ohio since 2014. And so if you look at the numbers on there, just a very wide, overview of club membership, community clubs only, you'll see that our membership in Ohio 4-H has been on the decline since at least 2014. I only went back to 2014 to get this information. But on average, what we're learning from this is that we lose about 1,500 kids a year to whatever reason, but we lose them from the 4-H Community Club program. And 4-H is such an amazing program that it truly is a shame that more and more kids are missing out on the opportunities that 4-H affords them. So that is the problem that we are stating right now. The problem is we're losing members. So we really just need to start looking at why we're losing our 4-H members.
So in our research, we've found from colleagues all across the nation that this is not only an Ohio problem, this is in fact a nationwide problem. And there are about 9 key reasons why members are leaving, and you can see them there on your screen, but it's related to being bullied by maybe other youth in the club or parents. They don't feel like they're connected or feel as though they're welcome in the club. They believe that maybe 4-H isn't for them after a trial run. Parents in the club could have some past history. There's conflicts with other activities. Maybe they're involved in sports or band or whatever that looks like for them that just, it doesn't fit in their schedule. It can be viewed as being too expensive. Or the last one, which is alarming to me, that they don't even know when their club met. And so obviously that's key to membership, is knowing when and where your club is going to meet. So how can we fix that?
Absolutely. There are quite a few alarming things on that list. So let's break them down. What Rachel and I did is we took that list of 9 things that the 2017 study shared, and we broke them into 4 categories. The categories that you have on your screen are, we made them up. We just, took them and put them into these categories. So we felt that they fell into the categories of communication, where there's obviously not enough communication happening whenever we lose some members, especially if they say that they don't even know when or where their club is meeting. So we need to work on our communication efforts whenever we're working with club members who are new to our program, and basically all of our club members. Another category that we felt worked would be the don't understand category. And so a lot of times, those of us who have been in the 4-H program for generations, like I'm a proud 4th generation 4-H member. You know, my parents and grandparents and great grandparents were all involved in 4-H. But if we're bringing in new members who have never been in the program, there's a lot of things that we do that don't make any sense because they don't have any historical background or any experience in what we're talking about. For instance, if you were never in the 4-H program and had no knowledge of the program, would you have any idea what a skill-a-thon is, or a DUNF form, or a project evaluation? What are those things? So we have our own little 4-H lingo or terminology that we use that can be really hard to understand unless someone takes the time and explains those things to us. The third category we came up with was boredom. Especially our older teen 4-H members, they get bored if all they're doing is going and sitting in long business meetings and there's really no activity or involvement. And imagine someone who's new to the program who comes and realizes that what they signed up for was a 2-hour discussion on what the club booth theme should be, or something like that. I mean, those are things that are kind of a turnoff if you have no other association with the 4-H organization. So we really have to be cognizant of what we're doing in our club meetings. And so boredom is another one. And finally, unwelcoming. Of course, all of these things can fall into the category of being unwelcome. But there are specific things as far as welcoming, a welcoming atmosphere that we can cater to make the whole atmosphere seem more welcoming.
So we've stated the problem in a couple different ways, but how do we fix that? How do we turn in their reasons to leave into reasons why to stay? What can we do to improve club environments, improve communication in a way that's receptive to everyone? And how can we change club meetings from being boring 2-hour long discussions to something that they look forward to because decisions are being made and they get to be part of the democratic process?
So we're going to talk a little bit about each of those 4 topics that we talked about. The first one is communication. And there are lots of different ways to communicate with our club members. The first one that is always my fallback. Email is, that's my thing. You know, I'm Generation X and email became a thing whenever I was in college. So, or that's when I started using it. So it's my fallback. It's the thing that I really like to use whenever I need to communicate with 4-H volunteers, camp counselors, teen leaders council members. I send them an email, and it's so frustrating whenever I realize that they're not reading my emails. Well, I actually had one of my former camp counselors tell me recently, I don't read your emails. I don't even get your emails. And that's really frustrating. Here is this 25-year-old guy that's like, I'm not reading your emails. Send me a text if you want me to hear what you have to say. So that kind of backs up the plan of we need multiple layers. Multiple layers are the key to communicating with our 4-H clubs because we are a family organization, which means we have multiple generations who are involved in our 4-H clubs. We have grandparents, older 4-H volunteers who are perhaps in the baby boom generation, and therefore their primary mode of communication that they prefer would be in person or on the phone. Like I talked about Gen X and how they prefer email. Millennials prefer texts, and research is still coming out as to how Gen Z will prefer to do communication. So there's lots of different ways to communicate with our families. And unfortunately, one way of communication is probably not going to get the trick done. Okay, so multiple layers of different kinds of communication reinforcing others is the best way to go. For example, if you send out an email newsletter, that's awesome to have a newsletter that you're emailing out. Maybe back that up with a text or use the Remind app or something that says, hey, I just sent you some great information that you need to give your attention to. And so that tells them, oh, I need to go check that email that I never checked. So there are lots of different ways to communicate, and we have actually a resource that'll help you out with communicating with your club that we'll get to in a little bit. Oops, I clicked too many times. There you go.
So along with communication, there seems to be, like we talked about, that lack of understanding of what 4-H really is and what it entails to be a member. It's more than just signing up and attending a meeting. And so how can we relay what it is in terms that our parents and new members, for that matter, new parents or even returning parents, are going to be able to get a better understanding of what it is that we have to offer? And so maybe that's a parent meeting before your 4-H year starts, where you go over your annual expectations, attendance policies, meeting times, locations, meeting days, whatever that looks like for your club. That can all be covered in a parent meeting, which cuts down on the time that's spent during your business meetings going over that information. A club orientation is a great way to get those new members information about your club while also meeting some of your old members. Club orientations can contain a panel of seasoned 4-H members who've completed project areas where they can come and serve as question answerers. Maybe they want to know what their project looked like. Maybe they want to know what it's like to participate at the fair or go to 4-H camp, or what that looks like. And those panel members at an orientation can answer those questions, also cutting down on your time at your business meeting. Member mentors is probably my favorite new thing that we've learned a lot about throughout this process of creating welcoming environments. And those are just like a 4-H friend or a 4-H buddy that partners up with a new member or a first through third year member at a meeting, where they can just sit beside them and maybe answer questions about a business meeting topic, or encourage them to be involved in the business meeting, whether that's making a motion or seconding a motion or participating in discussion when they have an opinion on the matter, getting them involved by sitting next to them, or just being a resource that they can call or text after the meeting, whatever that looks like. A new family coordinator, that could be a club advisor, or you have a college student who wants to be a leadership role or hold an officer position, but maybe can't devote enough time to that. Put them in the role of new family coordinator so they can serve as a resource, as someone who's been in the program and is seasoned enough to answer questions, where they can help new families and maybe take some of the weight off of the club leaders. A member survey is a great option for members to be able to discreetly give you their feedback or their goals on what your club can do to make their experience better. Maybe they want to ask questions specifically to the advisor, maybe not to a mentor or to the new family coordinator for fear of judgment. They can pop that in the survey and you can get back to them in a way that it's just between you and them. And then creation of a club handbook. We have a template for you to be able to put your club information into a tangible resource for members and families to have on the refrigerator, in their 4-H binder. Maybe they keep it in the car. That just has an outline of what the club's about, who your advisors are, who they can contact, information about project completion. And then on the back, where you can put your club meeting information, the dates, times, places. If you're having a fundraiser, that information can go in there. Just something to be able to keep them in communication with the club, but maybe not in full communication all the time.
As Rachel said, we do have several resources that we want to show with you at the end of this session that will help with a lot of these things. So boredom is that third topic area of why kids are leaving the 4-H program. And so it's really important for us to remember that limiting that business meeting and decision-making time is important. And in order to do that, and a way to get kids more active in that decision-making is to put those decisions into committees and have committees have that time to make decisions and bring it back to the business meeting. So all that discussion isn't happening during a business meeting that's going too long. But really, the best way to combat boredom in our 4-H clubs is to get active, incorporate field trips, do community service projects, get the kids involved in what they want to do for their programming. Have a meeting at the beginning of the year where the kids get to direct what the programming is going to be for the year, kind of a program planning meeting where everyone, or do a member survey where everyone gives their own ideas of what they think fun things to do for the year would be. So combat boredom with lots of activity, social time, things like that.
So all of the things that we've just talked about will help us create a welcoming environment, but figuring out how to put those into play can fall on the creation of a club welcome committee. And so we've created a guide that we'll show you in just a few minutes about what a welcome committee can look like and how to include members in that committee. But just the opportunity for team building or recreation, icebreakers where they're learning about each other, but maybe not knowing that they're learning more about each other. And then back to the mentors of just having that person that you can rely on to create an environment where they feel as though it's a safe place to ask questions and to continue to learn about what the program has to offer while also being a part of a group.
So you're probably sitting here thinking to yourself, great, we're 19 minutes into this presentation. You told us all these strategies we're supposed to use in our clubs, and we have no idea how to do it. Well, we're here to tell you that actually we have been working for quite a while on resources for clubs to create welcoming environments. And the website you're going to need after this, if you want to get these resources, is go.osu.edu/meetingsmatter. That's go.osu.edu/meetingsmatter. And Rachel's now going to take the time to show you those resources that we've collected on that website. And she's showing it to you right now. So Rachel, do you want to go over those?
Sure. You're seeing the resources page, right, Beth, on our website? Perfect. Just making sure. So this is a portion of our website, our county extension website, that you can access by that go.osu website that Beth just gave you. And this is on the Make Meetings Matter page. And starting out, we took the information that Beth had spent some time on previously of creating a Meetings Matter resource where you can evaluate your current club meeting and how to improve your club meeting. We took that information and decided to dig a little deeper on what we can do after we get that information. And so we talked about helping new families understand terminology, communicating with them, creating that club welcome committee. And so these are all fact sheets that kind of give you a step-by-step process of how to achieve the steps that need to be taken to create a welcoming environment. So we'll click on a couple of these and investigate a little more. So in theory, my internet will cooperate. So when we're trying to help new families understand the culture of 4-H, this fact sheet talks about resources that are created by the Ohio 4-H program and some of our colleagues, and then resources that Beth and I have created. And so the new family or parent meeting is a great resource, and there is a sample agenda in the Ohio 4-H Club Toolkit, grab and go club toolkit that you can use to kind of start planning your upcoming parent meeting. There's information about club mentors. The club handbook template is on the page that we were just on, and we'll show you that in just a moment, but it's linked here. And then the new member orientation, we've created a sample agenda on the back of this document that you can use. And let me zoom out so you can kind of see everything all at once. But this is kind of how to get started in creating that safe space for new families and new members to ask questions and learn all about your club, essentially taking that club handbook that you create and putting it into a meeting format, into words where it's interactive for discussion. So that's one of our resources. Communication, we focused a lot on communication, and Beth talked about layering communication. And so this is the icebreaker sheet, which is not the communication sheet, but I have that. Good to know. Let me open that fact sheet for us. Maybe, here it comes. Perfect. So effective communication. We talk about the importance of using emails and how to set up an email that's useful to club members, providing all of the details for upcoming events in that email, and then following that up with a text or a short remind app message, whatever that looks like. The use of newsletters, if you don't have a club newsletter and would like to start, we provide some options here for you to be able to start a new account. And some of them are free resources and some of them cost a little bit. And then on the back here, there's information about keeping text messages short and to the point for our members that don't like to read emails or don't like to read texts. If you want to create a club website, we've created some websites with the help of our 4-H council. And so we've made a video for you to be able to use the free resource of Google Sites and take that in creating a place for your club to hold all of their information. And then there's information about creating handouts if you need to store your items for club history purposes or just for use in future meetings. You can use cloud storage, creating or using apps to create a form of communication. Those are all apps that can be found in the App Store or on the Google Play Store that allow for group communication to take place. So that might be an option if after you send an email, pick one of these apps to send out a follow-up reminder. And then the creation of club social media accounts. And we've linked the social media policies for Ohio 4-H there to be sure that you read up on those if you're going to create a club social media account. I just showed you the icebreaker sheet. So we've created 10, a resource that holds 10 websites that you can view for icebreakers or fun get to know you games that your officer team can use. This resource shares with you how to create that welcome committee and what it should look like. So here's a structure option for your club welcome committee. A adult volunteer should be there to help them start the committee, be a resource to the committee. A youth committee chair is going to take the leadership of that committee and assign roles from the committee at every meeting. The greeter is someone that'll sit at that sign-in table like I talked about earlier and just create that welcoming first impression. Your pre-meeting activity leader, that can be leading an icebreaker, or maybe they just want to play a fun game. That's what that individual is going to do. And then the member mentors can, they can have a time to meet pre-meeting or during the meeting or whatever that looks like. But your welcome committee would help assign those member mentors. And then also attached to this resource are some options for pre-meeting activities for your committee to use. So we've created a 4-H bingo game that you can print and have a human bingo, if you will. to interact with each other and meet each other. And then we have the Ohio 4-H Family Guide Scavenger Hunt that we've adapted to fit the current Ohio 4-H Family Guide for this year, along with an answer key as well, so that you can do that as a group. And then there's get to know you games that we've found and have used and like, as well as other group games that your club can use this as a resource, as a place to get them started. But those games that are always custom to play at 4-H meetings are also always welcome in this sense as well. And then here's the video for creating a Google site. It's about a 20-minute video. So it goes through kind of the starting of your site, but I'm more than willing to help. If you need help creating your Google site, you can reach out to me and I can do the best I can to help you, as we self-taught to create the 2 websites that we worked on with our council and horse committee. So we will learn with you as we go. And then the club handbook template is a downloadable resource in the format of a PowerPoint. And it should be opening, I think. And so this resource, while it opens, is, like I said, customizable to your club, and is editable in the format of PowerPoint. And so your club name would go here. And then your county name, sometimes if we put this resource online and it goes into Google and you type in club handbook, you end up with things from other states or other counties. And so adding that county name might be a good thing to do. The important club dates you can add over here on the back. So things like officer elections or big meeting titles or big meeting events that need to happen, you can add that as well. Or county-wide events. We've put the 4-H enrollment deadline on here. So that might be something that you want to add as well, so that parents can have that readily available. And then on the inside of your book, a paragraph or a welcoming message from your advisor team or leader team to welcome the families to the club. And then information about the advisors and maybe adding pictures. You don't have to add pictures, but maybe putting a name with a face is always an option. Information about your club dues or county activity fees, always good to add that in here and what those are used for. If you have a Cloverbud program, it's often good to talk about your Cloverbud program. And then project work, if your club has specific requirements for projects, maybe you require a demonstration or whatever that looks like, adding that in here so that your members know ahead of time what they're getting themselves into. And then the attendance expectations, maybe your club has an attendance policy of how many meetings they need to attend. You can add that in here so that that's something that parents can have as well. And then our icebreaker resources and the scavenger hunt are all linked down here. And then there's a handout and an activity for learning the club lingo that is linked here. We talked about, sometimes it's a foreign language to throw our alphabet soup at our new members or new families or even our seasoned members. So having this as something they can hold on to and know what you're talking about when you share information with them is always a great option. And so these can all be found by visiting that go.osu.edu/member or meetings matter on our website. And if you have questions about using them or need more information, feel free to reach out to Beth and myself, and we will put our contact information in the chat box there so that you can access our contact information, access to us.
So that wraps up our presentation, but speaking of the chat box, we'd like to put in the chat box a link to an online review of Rachel and I's presentation today. We really appreciate you coming. We did a lot of talking and not a lot of interaction, but with only 35 minutes, we had a lot of resources that we wanted to share with you. So if you would, please, please, please click on the link in the chat box that Rachel just put in there, and go ahead and give us your honest opinion of our session so that we can be evaluated this year for our teaching. And with that, we'd love to open it up for questions. We have a few minutes if any of you have any questions. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, and the second link that Rachel just put in there, actually you'll have to copy and paste it because it's not a clickable link. That would be the website that we have all of the resources that we put together today. One of those needs the link changed, and we will fix that as soon as we're done here. But thank you all so much. We hope you felt welcome, and we hope you go back out into your 4-H clubs and welcome new members into your club. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend and a great 4-H year. So thank you.